So Pyro Live has uploaded a YouTube video, and I saw a little bit of it, and I decided to react to it. So I only saw maybe the first minute, maybe. I don't even know what it's about. But anyways, let's go.
Small disclaimer, this video isn't going to be the laugh out loud hilarious slop that you usually see on this channel. This isn't like a typical internet happening where Mr. Breast released a new Skibidi Toilet chocolate bar and 5 people didn't like it. This is actually an altercation that happened between 2 streamers, and it ended up with one of them losing their life. Now, as we...
That's insane. YouTube beef or streamer or Twitch drama ends up in someone dying. That's insane. That's why I wanted to react to this video.
You know, internet drama is basically an inevitability. As soon as you put yourself out there on the internet, you will always have a group of people that just do not like you. You know, maybe this...
Facts. That applies to the internet. That applies to real life. It applies to everybody. Somebody's going to hate you just for existing. Okay? That's just a reality of life. But whenever you put yourself on the internet, you expose yourself to everyone.
This might evolve into something else, maybe a boxing ring match where people punch each other. Something which I now feel like every 3rd YouTuber has tried at least once. But thankfully, rarely any of these confrontations actually spill out into the real world and actually become so bad that 2 people end up losing their lives over it. Now, I do need to disclose that the 2 people involved in this, Finny and Manny, the streamers, they were never like enormously huge content creators. Finny's channel has around 4,000 subscribers, and that's why covering this has been really difficult, because this wasn't an incredibly famous content creator. The details are really sparse what's actually happened. And on top of this as well, the other streamer, Manny, has actually had his entire channel taken down by YouTube. Meaning, again, a large chunk of information and context to what's happened has just been lost to time. So the main thing we can only really run off here is Finny's account of the story. So a streamer by the name of...
Of course, is smaller content creators. It's always smaller content creators that... I assume that would be a smaller content creator because, I don't know, I feel like whenever you're a smaller creator, you're a lot more likely to do certain, I don't know, be participating in certain type of dramas or certain type of, events that maybe a bigger creator wouldn't even waste their time on. I mean, I'm not sure what the context is, but that's what we got this white man for. No racism. Hashtag no racism.
Of Finny the Legend starts his live stream in Las Vegas. This was on the 8th of June. And something really quite haunting about the stream as well. When he starts it, there's a Queen tribute actually playing Bohemian Rhapsody in the background. And if you're unaware, the context of Bohemian Rhapsody is a song about a young man who kills another man, and then he's reflecting on what his life will be like after the murder. You can literally hear the lyrics in the background. Like when he boots up the stream, you can even hear it being said, "If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on. Carry on as if nothing really matters."
It ain't what we thought.
And for everything that happened during this stream, that is a horrifying coincidence. Now, Finny is actually from Arizona. He's just visiting Las Vegas, where another streamer who Finny has a rivalry or beef with actually lives there. Now, this other streamer who's based in Las Vegas is called Sin City Manny Wise. Now, there is a lot of beef between these two, which I will get into in a little bit, but Manny is definitely not Finny's biggest fan. In fact, when Finny actually went to Las Vegas, Manny started up a live stream trying to essentially hunt him down.
I'm out here searching for my baby. I went through every casino there is. I heard there's one of my biggest fans here in town. I was dying to see him. Dying to see him.
Later on that day, around 10 p.m., Finny and his wife, who goes by the name Bubbly, headed down to the Bellagio fountains on the Vegas Strip. Now, this is one of the most visited areas in pretty much all of Las Vegas. There are these massive spurts of water shooting up and surrounded by an even bigger man-made lake. And they even do musical performances there sometimes that are synced up to the fountains. It's a really iconic location that a lot of people, when they go to Vegas, they'll get pictures there. And since Finny was streaming himself going by these fountains with his wife, that put a massive red arrow arrow on his location. And for Manny, who at the same time was trying to hunt down Finney, he basically knew exactly where he was now. Now, I'm not going to show the entire clip of the confrontation. That's for obvious reasons and also, you know, respect to the victims. But I will try to basically explain what went down. So at this point, Finney is talking to his live chat. He's got about 300 concurrent viewers. And it seems at this point that people are having a pretty good time. You know, he's laughing, taking in some of the sights of Vegas. But then you hear the voice of a woman that catches Finney's attention. And then she starts saying, "Bring your ass over here. We ain't starting now, shit." And then you can see both of them enter the frame. Now, I don't have complete and total confirmation here, but I'm 99% sure that that is Finney's wife, Bubbly, from looking in the past live streams, because they have the same hairstyle and they look kind of similar, but again, can't 100% confirm that. Now, Bubbly is standing in between Finney and Manny, blocking Manny trying to get to Finney. Now, I don't actually think Finney identified who Manny was straight away because there's like a bit of a delayed reaction there. But when he does, Finney says,
Yeah, homeboy was just chilling with his wife on the Vegas Strip. And you got his op just searching and hunting for him. I wonder what was the context that led up to this. Why was Manny so mad at Finney? Manny and Finney is like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the names Manny and Finney, it sounds like those two would be opposition in like a cartoon. Manny versus Finney. Like a Phineas Ferb spin-off episode or some shit.
"Oh, what's up, bro?" And then as he finishes his sentence, Manny pulls out a gun and fires 5 bullets.
What? Why? Well, okay.
Into Finney. When this happens, of course, Bubbly looks incredibly shocked, grabs the camera, and then we hear 2 more shots as she screams, drops the camera, and falls silent. By the time police arrived, Manny already fled the scene, but we learn about what happened with a press interview with the sheriff.
Bro gunned him down in front of his wife, in front of all these people at the Las Vegas Strip.
Scene, but we learn about what happened with a press interview with the sheriff of the Metropolitan Police Department. There's a man called Andrew Walsh, and the first responders to the scene were police officers. They were basically on patrol at the time. They heard the gunshots and then rushed over, and they discovered both Finney and Bubbly lying on the ground with bullet wounds. They tried to
He shot Bubbly too?
administer first aid, but
That's probably why she dropped the camera.
unfortunately the injuries were too severe, and they both passed away.
He killed him and his wife, bro. He killed 2 people. Over what?
Found 2 victims who were laying on the sidewalk, suffering from apparent gunshot wounds.
Now, at the time of recording, the police have not officially identified the 2 people as Finney and Bubbly, but Walsh does actually state that he believes that they've identified the perpetrator that was a result of Finney and Manny's internet feud.
At this point, we believe we have the suspect identified and that this is an isolated incident, knowing that the suspect and the victim had previously engaged in some type of conflict using a variety of social media platforms.
He then ends the press conference by saying to anyone that has more information, please come forward. And then on the following day, the 9th of June, Manny handed himself into police custody. So yeah, as you can see, this is like a
Wait, check this out. Check this out.
day, the 9th of June, Manny handed
41 years old. 41 years old. This man was insane. Why am I pointing out the fact that he's 41 years old? He went 41 years of his life and decided, you know what, I'm going to kill a man and his wife at the Las Vegas Strip. Homeboy was probably a fucking bum. I'm not going to lie. If you're 41 years old and you're on social media, you're a content creator, and you're willing to kill somebody over some streamer beef or streamer drama, you're definitely a bum. You're a bum if you do it at 21. But at 41, it's like, come on. 41 is like the older you get, boom, 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 you're more of a bum. Unless if you got dementia or some shit. This dude was a big bum. Dude was the most massive bum on the Las Vegas Strip.
handed himself into police custody.
Which is like the most bummiest place you could possibly be, arguably.
So yeah, as you can see, this is like a really heavy situation to talk about. And you might be wondering, what kind of beef did they actually have?
That's exactly what I'm wondering.
that ended up with 2 people losing their lives over it. According to one of Finney's friends, they've basically said that the beef these two have had has been going on for years.
This brewed for 2 years.
And unfortunately, again, because Manny's channel has been deleted by YouTube, there really isn't too much to work with here to find out how deep this rabbit hole goes. So obviously take all of this with a pinch of salt, but the narrative that I've been seeing people running with online is that Finney, Bubbly, and Manny at one point were all friends. Maybe not friends, not super close, but they didn't have like a bitter rivalry between each other. According to Finney's friend, again, this good relationship they had basically broke down after Manny pepper sprayed Bubbly.
I was saying, I'm just glad.
What? What? Alright, so this man, Manny, right? So they're all friends. Finley, Bubbly, Manly, all friends. Well, not close friends, but they're friendly. And then somehow Manny, of course it would be Manny, the fucking lunatic, pepper sprays his wife, and that's where the drama all starts.
It was pepper spray and it wasn't bullets.
And why he did this, the context, we don't know, but it seems to have basically set the stage for their hatred of each other. Now, one thing we do know for a fact is that Manny did have a much larger following than Finney. Although the channel, like I said, was taken down, there are archives of it, and
Of course, the fucking psychopath has a larger following.
search results and caches basically showing that the Sin City Manny Wise channel had over 14,000 subscribers, and the Sin City family account actually had over 46,000
Family? This man had a family? I doubt it. At least he probably didn't have a good family. That's what I'm saying.
subscribers.
Willing to lose your life. Because, listen, Manny, Finley, and Bubbly, they all lost their life. It's just Manly might still be alive. Because those cops are going to get you and they're going down. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Subscribers. And this is where apparently Finney saw this as an opportunity to start hitting Manny where it hurt his YouTube audience. So some weeks Finney would basically host a live stream where he'd begin to attack Manny. If you look at the live tab on his channel, you can basically see that every stream title has Sin City Family or SCF on it, and it wasn't him just criticizing Manny. He'd regularly platform other people as well who also didn't like Manny. From looking at it though, it doesn't seem that Finney was like mindlessly hating on Manny, but actually been pointing out other things that he'd been accused of in the past. Like, for example, apparently how Manny allowed a woman to expose herself on camera when she was drunk, and while doing that, grabbing her breasts, despite the fact at the time he was married to another woman. Now, even though Finney was a much smaller creator,
Of course.
he would regularly pull in on average around 10,000 views. And by the look of it, this really angered Manny because according to reports, he was losing subs from this. His audience slowly stopped watching him and they went to go and watch Finney instead. So in an attempt to squash Finney, Manny basically started copyright striking his videos. Manny actually did submit 2 successful copyright claims on Finney's channel. There's 2 videos here: Who Said My Channel Was Going Away, and P Manny, Nobody Likes You Liar, You Didn't Get My Super Chats, Stupid. Taking both of those videos down successfully and giving his channel 2 copyright strikes. For those who don't know, when you get 3 copyright strikes, that basically means your channel is either going to get taken down or it starts this timer before your channel gets taken down. Now, from what I understand looking into it, these seem to be false strikes. Manny was basically abusing the system to try and silence Finney's criticism. Finney might have reacted to a video of Manny's, which he had every right to do so, but Manny saw this as an opportunity to strike his channel and jumped on it. But obviously YouTube has got slightly better over the years, so these strikes were deemed false and they were like quickly reverted. But having the strikes removed wasn't enough, so in retaliation he actually started to try and strike Manny's channel. And it does sound like these were in favor of Vinny, because you can see here he wasn't actually going to send a 3rd strike to take down Manny's channel, citing Manny's extremely poor mental health as a driving factor.
We all laugh and joke, but mental illness is real, and we can clearly see this guy is mentally ill. So one thing about it,
Of course he's mentally ill. Hey, it's crazy that this man, right, Finney, is claiming that he's mentally ill, which, of course he's mentally ill. He fucking pepper sprayed his wife, right? And then 2 years later, kills him and his wife fucking in the fucking streets. You know what I'm saying? And this man is the one that gets killed. You know, life isn't fair. You know, here's the thing. Here's a comment I want to say. Life isn't fair. People are crazy. So just watch out. You know what I'm saying? Watch out. You know, be considerate that life ain't fair and people are crazy. And even though you might be in the right, you might die.
That's why I want to put it
over some bullshit.
on y'all too. If he give us another strike and I got 3, y'all know that channel mean everything to him. He don't got no outside friends, nothing. I don't think I could do it in my heart. And I'm saying this on live so he can hear it too.
So now you know the context. This had been a rivalry that had been going on for quite some time. From Finney basically having weekly rent sessions smearing his name, to Finney building his platform, mostly from how much people disliked Manny. All of that led up to a bursting point, and that's obviously when the really fatal incident happened in Las Vegas. So the big question that people are wondering now is, what happens next? Well, since Manny, like I said earlier, actually handed himself in, the manhunt's ended. He'll most likely be in prison for the rest of his life. From what I've seen, especially in the clip where he talks about basically hunting Finney and his wife down, prosecutors will have a really easy case here for premeditated first-degree murder.
Just know instigators get this too.
And as well, in the state of Nevada,
Instigators get this shit too. This man was willing to kill everybody.
where this act was actually committed, first degree can get you some really bad sentences. I mean, you can just straight up get the death penalty. You can get the death penalty if the aggravating circumstances outweigh the mitigating circumstances, or life in prison without any possibility of parole after 20 years, or 50 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. I mean, even if he gets like a lesser sentence, like 20 years, his life is still over. And on Finney's side of the story, because obviously he was a victim behind this, he'll be leaving friends, family, and more importantly, children, because from the interview that Fox Vegas did with the friend, we actually learn, unfortunately, that Finney and Bubbly had children, and now they're basically orphans. But that's pretty much the whole...
Imagine you chilling, mommy's daddy is on vacation, and then you hear that mommy and daddy got killed by some random lunatic in the street. Come on. All you gotta do is... from that information, all you can do is just pray for those children. That's insane.
Update on that. Usually I end with like a funny bit or something, but it's just sad. It's just a really sad situation.
That's insane. Let's look at some comments. Pyro doesn't have the right fan base to handle serious commentaries. Absolutely terrifying that somebody can have it for you, live stream their shots to your location, pull out a firearm and kill you cold blood without any sort of warning, bone chilling. Hearing gunshots like that always scares me. Of course. Be serious in this video. Shooting mother and father because your YouTube channel isn't doing exactly. Shooting a mother and father because your YouTube channel isn't going as it used to because of them is one of the pettiest reasons I ever heard of murder. Bro was insane. Insane. Bro died and he names it a situation. He might change the title. That's insane. That's incredible. Be safe. Life isn't fair. People are crazy. People will kill you for absolutely no reason. And that's just life.